You don't become who you want in life, you become who you practice being. Not who you claim to be, not who you wish you were, not who you describe yourself as when you're talking, but who you are when no one is watching. Identity is not built in moments of motivation. It is built in moments of repetition. Every habit you repeat is a vote. Every choice you make is a signal. Every action is teaching the world and yourself who you are. And most people don't realize something critical. They are not failing at life. They are succeeding at being the wrong person. They have perfectly built the identity they currently live with. The procrastinator, the overthinker, the distracted one, the person who starts and never finishes, the one who talks more than they act. Not because they wanted to become that person, but because that is who their behavior trained them to be. Identity is not declared, it is earned. And the world doesn't care about your intentions, it only responds to your consistency. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Aristotle. Most people try to change their lives by changing their goals. But goals are fragile. They rely on mood, on motivation, on energy levels. Identity does not. When something becomes part of who you are, you don't negotiate with it. You don't wait to feel ready. You don't ask for permission. You just act. A disciplined person doesn't debate whether to show up. A focused person doesn't fight themselves to concentrate. A resilient person doesn't collapse at the first setback. Not because it's easy, but because it's normal for them. That is identity. And here's the uncomfortable truth. If your life doesn't reflect who you want to be, then that person is not your identity yet. They are just an idea, an aspiration, a fantasy version of yourself, a character you admire but never fully become. And there is nothing more painful than living with a gap between who you are and who you know you could be. That gap creates frustration, restlessness, self-criticism, the constant feeling that you're behind your own potential, not because you're incapable, but because you're out of alignment with yourself. You want one life, but your habits are building another. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Epictetus. Identity is built quietly, without announcements, without dramatic turning points, without grand speeches. It's built in. Waking up when you don't feel like it, training when no one will notice, choosing focus over escape, keeping promises you made only to yourself. And this is why most people stay stuck. They try to change results without changing the person producing them. They want confidence without discomfort, respect without responsibility, growth without sacrifice. But identity doesn't care what you want. It only responds to what you repeatedly do. You don't rise to the level of your dreams, you fall to the level of your systems, to your routines, your standards, your discipline when motivation is gone. The version of you that exists 5 years from now is already being built today, not by massive decisions, but by small ones. What you watch, what you tolerate, what you avoid, what you repeat. All of it is carving your identity in real time. And the dangerous part is, you can drift into an identity without ever choosing it. Life will let you become passive, comfortable, distracted, average. It will never stop you. No alarms go off when you waste years. No warning lights flash when you abandon your potential. No one comes to correct your trajectory. You wake up one day and realize You became someone without consciously choosing who. And that realization hurts more than failure, because you can forgive mistakes. But it's hard to forgive a life you didn't fully live. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Seneca. Most people think identity is something fixed, something you are. But identity is something you build. You are not your past. You are not your labels. You are not your mistakes. You are your patterns, and patterns can be rewritten. Not overnight, not through inspiration, but through quiet, boring, consistent behavior. The kind no one applauds. The kind that doesn't feel exciting. The kind that looks insignificant. Until one day, it compounds. And suddenly, you're no longer trying to be disciplined. You are disciplined. You're no longer forcing focus. You are focused. You're no longer pretending to be resilient. You are resilient. Not because of a breakthrough, but because you trained yourself into a new identity. This is where real confidence comes from. Not from affirmations, not from hype, not from pretending, but from evidence. From watching yourself do hard things, from keeping your word, from becoming someone you can rely on. And once you respect yourself, the world becomes quieter. You stop needing validation. You stop chasing approval. You stop performing. Because your identity is no longer external. It's internal, stable, grounded. If you're done living in distraction, like and subscribe. This channel exists to help you protect your attention and build something real. Here is the hopeful part most people miss. You are never stuck with the identity you have now. It feels permanent because you repeat it daily. But repetition can work in both directions. Every time you show up when you don't feel like it, you weaken the old identity. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you reinforce a new one. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you become someone more trustworthy. Not in theory, in reality. You don't need to find yourself, you need to build yourself. Through action, through standards, through consistency when no one is watching. And the moment you understand this, your entire life becomes simpler. Not easier, but clearer. You stop asking, who am I supposed to be? And start asking, what would that person do today? And then you do it. Even when it's uncomfortable. Even when it's boring. Even when it feels small. Because identity is not created in big moments. It's created in ordinary ones, done with discipline. One day, the mirror changes. Not your face, your presence, your posture, your energy, your standards. And you realize something quietly powerful. You are no longer trying to become someone. You already are.